Prince Harry looks set to give evidence in court and be cross-examined in what would be the first trial in which a senior royal gives evidence in court since the 19th century. And this trial might last 6 to 7 weeks and not just involve Prince Harry. So in this video, I'm going to look at broadly what this claim is and what giving evidence and being cross-examined might entail. Let's take a closer look. Welcome back to the channel. So you might remember previous videos that I've done about Prince Harry and alleged phone hacking scandals, and this is broadly similar, albeit a different case. So Prince Harry would come forward in what might be a test case, and not just for himself, but on behalf of others, including Cheryl Cole, George Michael, and Michael Le Vell, in what might amount to be a test case against Mirror Group newspapers. It might last 6 to 7 weeks and would involve the prince himself giving evidence and being cross-examined in court. According to Sky News, this is yet another case of alleged phone hacking, which of course so far is going to be denied. But this is historical phone hacking, so in a sense that this is not just a recent thing, but from some time ago, involving, as I said, Cheryl Cole, George Michael, Michael Le Vell, and so is not just a case involving one person, but a number of people and obviously a number of events, hence why it's going to take 6 to 7 weeks. To give that some perspective, broadly the amount of time that it might take a murder trial to complete. So as reported by Sky News here, Prince Harry himself might be cross-examined over allegations which he's expected to be critical of previous editors of the Daily Mirror, leading the paper from 1995 to 2004. And as I say, he would be the first senior royal to give evidence in a court since the 19th century. Now, whilst you may have heard of Mirror Group newspapers, you may not know exactly who they are, but Mirror Group newspapers is part of the publisher Reach, which you might have seen on your scrolling to and from work on the train or wherever, and is of course one of Britain's biggest newspaper groups. Previously known as Trinity Mirror, Reach owns multiple national papers, including the Daily Mirror, Daily Express, Daily Star, local newspapers, including the Manchester Evening News, Liverpool Echo, and the magazine OK. So doubtless you will have come across any one of those publications, and this claim involves the alleged unlawful information gathering on behalf of their journalists between 1996 and 2011. Of course, Mirror Group has contested these claims and argues that some of them are too late. Now, as I've said in previous videos, if a claim is brought too late, generally that is what we call statute barred, meaning you've waited too long or you just haven't taken action, therefore it is not right that you bring an action now. And you need a very good reason to be able to bring the action after such a date. Lawyers on behalf of the claimants, involving, of course, David Sherborne again, say that Harry's case relates to a number of articles published between 1996 and 2011 with information that was obtained allegedly through unlawful means, such as phone hacking. So this would obviously be relatively serious. They say that his family and friends, including the king himself and late presenter Caroline Flack, also were illegally targeted, as alleged. So what is phone hacking itself? Well, this is intercepting private messages, be it voicemail or whatever, which may be done remotely, may be done in person with a device, but either way, required having some information about the number itself, the phone itself, and of course without the permission of the person involved. And certain ways of doing this, certain hackers go through to voicemail, and as I've done in many videos before, you need to be careful with such scams where the phone is answered and potentially hackers get through somehow into your voicemail and somehow either guess or by one means or another have access to your PIN number, get through to your voicemails, and then have access to information that they should not have. Listening to voicemails that have been left for you that obviously they shouldn't be listening to. Now, I've previously talked about the Leveson inquiry, in which there was a public inquiry from the erstwhile News of the World and journalists which had hacked phones previously, and information from this Leveson inquiry, it is argued, was not supposed to be usable and admissible material. But of course, that's one of the arguments now to say that it is not right, that this material should not be relied upon if it is so prevalent. So what would we talk about by being examined and cross-examined in the first place? Well, as I sometimes teach as a visiting lecturer to a law school to trainee barristers, giving evidence in chief and being cross-examined are two very different things. Giving evidence in chief, as in your own evidence, is giving your side of the story. And my reading of this whole situation, if cases like this are going to court for some 6 to 7 weeks, there is a serious issue to be tried, as it's known in law. If you are giving your evidence in chief, that is your story, your lawyer will talk you through everything that's happened and what it is that you're complaining about. Essentially, that is your evidence. Now, in civil trials, that may or may not be the case. In this trial, going to the High Court, generally speaking, in civil trials, your main evidence, your evidence in chief, is going to be made up by way of your witness statement. And then your lawyer will have you confirm, firstly, your identity and swear an oath in court that your evidence is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then with your witness statement, to swear that that is your witness statement, you made it, it's accurate, and you signed it, and you accept that as your evidence. And if the court accepts that statement, then that evidence stands in chief as your primary evidence in court, in the civil courts. On occasion, your lawyer may seek the court's permission to expand upon that evidence if there's new information that's come to light since making that witness statement that the court really ought to hear. Of course, the court will need to give permission for that. This differs somewhat from criminal trials, in which the majority of evidence is given live, unless, of course, witness statements are agreed. If witness statements are agreed, then there's no need to hear that evidence live. Then prosecutor and defense counsel will agree such statements, and that will form part of the evidence. In other cases, in criminal trials, it will be heard as live evidence. However, the important bit here is if this trial goes ahead, expected to be in June or so, Harry will have his witness statement stand in chief and perhaps give additional evidence on top of that. But more importantly, will be cross-examined as to the veracity, consistency, and evidential value of his own witness statement and evidence therein. And so, as I say, will be the first senior royal to provide evidence in court and be cross-examined and have his evidence tested in court since the 19th century. And this case will stand as a significantly important test case for alleged phone hacking, because if this is made out, then it's going to have a significant impact upon journalism across the country, because not only will that have repercussions for this particular case and this particular defendant, but there may well be a lot of other complaints coming forward thereafter from many other individuals, such as is the case with any test case. Where there is a test case, it is the court putting to test any one substantially similar set of facts from one and a number of different claimants. And if the court finds a claim made out in such a case, then any such test case will stand precedent for any future cases. So any decision, any rulings, any comments, or obiter dictum, as we call it in law, the comments made about a case may well be used and relied upon in future cases coming forward. So, as reported by Sky News, it remains to be seen what will happen and what will come forward in this case. And as they put it, Harry's crusade against the media, and we will see what happens. But either way, I agree with the report by Sky News that this will be a significant test case in what comes forward. So this is what we expect to come. It will be very interesting, to say the least, and I will come back and report further on it as and when we get more information. So please do hit that like button and subscribe, because not just because the numbers go up, but that also helps you to receive further updates, especially if they hit that notification bell. And it helps me to reach a wider audience. And I thank you for doing that right now. And of course, I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.